Stephen William Hawking was born on January 8, 1942, in Oxford, England. He was born on the 300th anniversary of Galileo's death, and his zodiac sign is a Capricorn.
His mother attended Oxford University in the 1930s, a time when few women received this opportunity. His father was a medical researcher with a specialty in tropical diseases.
He was the first of 3 siblings. He had 2 sisters and 1 adopted brother. His family moved away from Oxford to find refuge from World War II.
In his childhood, the Hawking family would eat dinner in silence, each reading a book. His childhood home was a fixer-upper, where they housed bees in the basement and made fireworks in the greenhouse. He and his mother would often lay out at night and look at the stars. And at age 11, he attended St. Albans School, where after his first year, he was 3rd from last in his class.
He was focused on life outside of class. He liked board games, playing with his friends, and dancing.
He enrolled at the University of Oxford, where he joined the university's rowing team. He intended to study mathematics, although his father wanted him to pursue medicine. Mathematics was not offered at the college, so Hawking chose physics instead. He remained focused on life outside of school, only studying for about 1 hour a day.
He started to trip and fall and slur his speech. He kept this to himself. However, his father took notice and took him to the doctor. For 2 weeks, he underwent many tests. After his 21st birthday, he was diagnosed with ALS. The nerves controlling his muscles were shutting down, and he was given 2.5 years to live.
His family was devastated, but a few events changed his state of mind. Soon after being released from the hospital, Stephen met Jane Wilde and fell in love. In just 3 years, he received a first-class honors degree in natural science, and in 1965, he married Jane Wilde.
Before my condition was diagnosed, I had been very bored with life. There had not seemed to be anything worth doing, he said. Upon realizing he may never get a chance to earn his PhD, he started working tirelessly on research.
He then moved to Cambridge to study and research cosmology. The discoveries of Roger Penrose inspired Hawking to study black holes. He gained his PhD and soon after took on the position of first research fellow.
In 1967, his first son Robert was born. Then in 1969, his daughter Lucy was born. 10 years later, his son Timothy was born. By this time, he had become dependent on a wheelchair for movement.
He would later be a professional fellow at Gonville and Calais College. He left the Institute of Astronomy in 1973, and Hawking then entered the Department of Applied Mathematics and Theoretical Physics. He held the position of Lucasian Professor of Mathematics from 1979 to 2009. This is an old and prestigious chair once held by Isaac Newton in 1669.
He now required 24-hour nursing care. He needed assistance with almost everything, with the exception of getting out of bed and feeding himself. In 1985, Professor Hawking lost his voice altogether. It was around this time that he resorted to a computer for speech.
Stephen Hawking still heads the Department of Applied Mathematics and Theoretical Physics at Cambridge University. The professor works with basic laws that govern the universe. He proved that Einstein's general theory of relativity implied space and time would have their beginning in the Big Bang and the end in black holes. This fact showed that it was necessary to combine general relativity with quantum theory.
Hawking also discovered that black holes are not completely black, but emit radiation and eventually disappear. He also determined that the universe has no boundary. This Hawking radiation turned Professor Hawking into a publicly known scientist.
In 1990, Hawking left Jane for his nurse, Elaine Mason. In 1995, he remarried. The marriage only lasted 11 years.
In 1997, I started using a computer mounted to my wheelchair. The cursor moves with the movement of my glasses, which I can maneuver with my cheek using Speech Plus software. I use this computer to surf the internet, use Microsoft Word, or Skype my friends.
He has been the figure of many books and movies. He has written many peer-reviewed publications and books. Stephen Hawking is the holder of 12 degrees and can think in 11 dimensions. He He believes in time travel and that humans will eventually colonize other planets, and he has also received many awards.
He was given the opportunity to experience a lifelike space environment thanks to the Kennedy Space Center. He still continues his work with theoretical physics. He travels often and gives lectures. He hopes to visit space one day and is planning on traveling to the edge of space on one of Richard Branson's rockets in the future.
He has recently become interested in extraterrestrial life and an advocate for funding in the field. His health still remains a concern, however. He remains alive 50 years after he was expected to have died, and at age 74 still contributes to the scientific world often.